Hi, it's me, your host, Chloe Maddren. Welcome to a new episode of The Friend Request. How the heck is everyone doing this week? I hope you are feeling good. I hope that wherever you are, things are going well. If you're new to the show, this is the podcast where I ask people how they got their friends and if I can have some, because some of us find it hard. This week's guest is a delightful comedian based in England. She is over here in Sydney at the moment performing at the Sydney Comedy Festival. She's just finished her run at the Melbourne Comedy Festival, but you can see her all over the world and on the internet, on TV shows. She is an absolute star. She was so lovely to have on the podcast, and it was actually our first time meeting, so I hope that you enjoy that. I hope that you get to enjoy what it's like to make friends with me. We've got today's guest is the wonderful, the lovely Olga Koch.
Did we just become best friends? Yep. Did we just become best friends? Did we just become best friends?
I'm proud of you. How are you?
I'm good.
I love to ask the host of the podcast how they are, because no one ever asks. You know what I mean?
No one ever asks. That's so sweet. Oh my God. Well, it's I really enjoy having a guest on that I've never met before. So
hi, this is how we meet.
This is how we meet.
Thank you so much for this robe. I feel like Miss Piggy, as I've said.
Yeah, no, you look fantastic.
Thank you.
You did say Miss Piggy's a style icon, so
I would say definitely on my vision board, like if I had to do style icons, it would definitely be Miss Piggy.
Well, yeah, because you've got Miss Piggy, and right next to her is like Pam Anderson, right?
Yes.
That's the same realm.
Yeah,
They're all kind of it's fluffy, it's diva. I love it.
100%.
It's a really good choice.
It's like, cis women strongly inspired by drag.
Yes, 100%. And then occasional drag queens as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Although another cis woman, is she a cis woman, Ursula? Like inspired by drag. You know Ursula from The Little Mermaid?
Ursula from The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
I wonder if fish and seafood are even sort of even subscribed to the gender binary.
You know what? I'm going to guess that like JD Vance would have an issue with them as well. So, but you know, they got issues with everyone, so whatever. I actually caught a set of yours. I want to say Monday at the show at the brewery.
Oh, that was horrible.
It was a weird show.
That was not fun.
But you were great. You're
so
very
funny.
kind.
You're very kind.
No.
It's one of those things where and this is the thing is, if this gets me canceled, you know, I'll be proud that that's the thing. I have been spoiled, if spoiled, sometimes intimidated by the sort of intelligence of Melbourne audiences.
Oh, really?
I would say even smug intelligence.
Okay.
Whereas, and so I came out all guns blazing in Sydney with my 5 minutes that I've honed in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And in the front row was all just surfer dudes who were some of the hottest, like nines at least. And I was like, oh, I'm about to bomb. And I did, because they were like completely blank expressions, just like, huh?
Whoa, yeah.
Because Sydney is himbo, and that's beautiful.
A lot of himbo. And you'll get less of it on like the inner west, you know, your great little clubs in Newtown or whatever. They're there, they're listening, they can pay attention. But when you go close to the beach or an event like that, which was full of a lot of influencer types, it's just that they're too pretty. And I used to judge these audiences and go, these guys are so stupid. They've never experienced anything. They can't.
They've never experienced anything.
Nothing at all. They can't possibly fathom life. And then I realized they're just happy.
They're happy. Exactly. They're just happy. And they just need something a little different. So a lot of it wasn't like ill-intentioned. It wasn't like they were booing me. It was just that truly everything I was saying was just going, it may have been, I would love to have seen it through their eyes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it was just, I came out as very much a Muppet and speaking a foreign language. And then they were just like, okay. Huh? Like there was a sort of just like a wonderment and a curiosity, but definitely no comprehension of what was going on.
Yes, 100%. I think you have to slow it down for these people sometimes. Give them a little second to, okay, when you're a hot girl, there's a second for that. And then there's a second for a different accent. They're like, what? What's she saying? They've got to calibrate. And then
I'm also definitely exaggerating how intellectual the set was. But I just need to.
I do that. That's fine.
And it was just like, oh, flaccid dicks, am I right?
They just don't get me. I did obviously listen to the set though and learn a little bit about you, and I have done more research
Oh my
since.
God,
Very
she's done the
exciting.
research.
I've done some
She's
research.
consulted the text.
I've consulted many people. I know you're doing a show at the moment, which is actually I should ask, how do I pronounce your last name?
Koch.
Koch.
But you can say whatever you want.
Okay.
I will respond.
I'm sure people have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you can't put that together, that is.
You're from Sydney.
It spells.
Good on
Mean
ya.
but true. No, yeah, I can imagine that at times people have mistook it for. Are we after 3 minutes? We are. Cock.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Wait, you
is
need to
one.
wait for 3 minutes to say cock?
I imagine so. On YouTube, they might get me in trouble.
That's so
Does
interesting.
it count as a swear word? I don't know.
I don't know. But we're actually a chicken farming channel, so it's totally fine.
It's totally fine.
I'll also say, my graduate, like in high school, my I ran for student council vice president. This is material I do, but genuinely, my big slogan was, "I want me some cock."
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
we've been new.
You've been playing on it. That's fantastic. Was there ever a point when you were younger when people were like just making fun of your last name or anything?
I distinctly remember, so I grew up in Russia, so like in Russia it didn't come up because it doesn't
No,
mean
of
anything.
course.
But whenever I was around English speakers and they saw my name, they would like giggle.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand why.
Oh my God.
And that was quite like frustrating because I was like, well, they won't tell me.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be paranoid and be like, why are you laughing at
Yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah.
So I kind of like sometimes I would laugh along, but I had no idea why. It took me like an embarrassingly long time to be like, oh. Because cock isn't even like on like the playground and when you learn English.
Yeah.
Cock is not a word for dick that you learn. You
No.
learn dick, you learn penis.
Yeah.
But like cock doesn't come up.
Nor should it. I don't know. Like you said, that's a rooster. Okay, can't we keep it PG, people? Please. Oh my God. Well, I'm glad that you did learn and then immediately ran with it.
Oh, yeah.
That's very fun. But as I was saying, your show that you're running at the moment is Olga Koch Comes From Money.
Yes.
Okay, so that immediately I'm like, tell me everything. I was recently Googling a list of billionaires and I did see a woman, what was her name? Julia Koch. And I was like,
Sadly,
any
no relation.
Okay, because that's money.
If there was relation, I simply would not be doing stand-up comedy.
Fair
I don't
enough.
think.
Okay. So it's like not so much money to warrant not doing this.
Fun fact: Koch is the most. I want to say the most common last name in Germany. So
Oh my
it's like it
God.
literally the word Koch means cook.
Well, yes.
So it's as popular as
Yeah.
cook.
Oh,
So
okay.
like that's you'll see a lot of Kochs.
Yeah.
Ew. And
I have.
very seldom are they related.
Yeah. Okay.
But I did for a while do like a Twitter running gag that I'm their daughter and I would like Photoshop myself into
awesome.
family photos with them. So
Oh,
that was
that's
a lot
so
of fun.
fun. Oh, I love that. Okay. But you did grow up with money.
I did, yes.
Oh my God. What was it like?
Oh man. Are you free this weekend? Because I am doing the show at the Comedy Store.
Yeah, I want to see it.
I guess like yeah, it was obviously a privileged upbringing.
Yeah.
But also with the backdrop of being in a country that like just transitioned from being in the Soviet Union, the
Yeah.
borders opening up, and like modern Russia as we know it being built. So I think it was like a really turbocharged experience.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just like my parents overnight
Yeah.
got money, but also the country overnight changed.
Oh,
The way that I always
wow.
explain it to like in the Soviet Union, the city was called Leningrad.
Mm-hmm.
After the Soviet Union fell apart, they renamed it St. Petersburg as it was before. So the funny thing is that me and my sister, who's much older than me, were born in the same exact hospital from the
Yeah.
same exact mother.
Yeah.
But she was born in Leningrad and I was born in St. Petersburg.
Oh, cute. Okay.
So like everything changed. So I think it was just like a really, I would say dynamic and like full on childhood.
Yeah, I bet. Well, I recently heard about a city in Italy that went through something similar where I think there was some sort of, not gold rush, but something like that, right? And everyone in that city like got money. Everyone became wealthy, and it had a massive impact on the culture of the city because you've got people that are just not used to it, you know, that first generation getting it, and then the children that are growing up with parents that haven't had money now have it, and
Yeah.
like this weird sense of entitlement, and apparently it like influenced a bunch of people killing their parents.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that to be continued, Mom and Dad. To be continued.
Okay, it's too early to say, but maybe.
It's not a no.
God damn, that's so interesting. Today's podcast is sponsored by Holistic Passage. Holistic Passage is a wonderful service that sends out lovely little THC, CBD, melatonin, psilocybin, gummies, vapes, disposables, all sorts of yummy products. I really enjoy them. I like the vapes and gummies the most. And sometimes a little microdose of mushrooms is not bad as well. Go to their Instagram, give them a follow. They'll send through a menu and then they can organize shipping out some lovely products to you. Use my code FRIEND for 10% off and then you get a discount and then I get to know that you're my friend. I don't know, please. They need to give me some copy for these ad reads because I'm just making stuff up. I mean, everything I've said is true for the most part. Anyway, thank you, Holistic Passage. I don't know if you're very familiar. I'm sure because you live in the UK now, right? Yeah. It's very common for people to cosplay as poor. That's a thing,
yeah,
right?
it's huge in the UK.
Yeah, okay.
I remember the Warburtons, which is like the biggest bread manufacturer in the UK. Like, I don't know if this is like an urban legend, but basically there is an area of London called Hackney Wick that like back in the day, I guess was a sort of like a warehouse district for exports coming in and out. And then over time, because the city grew and more people came, obviously those warehouses turned into flats and apartments and people started living in lofts. But it's also like it's got that sort of creative vibe to it. But then once became quote unquote hipster, a word that no one's ever used in the past 5 years, I'd say. Then it became like fancy.
Yeah. Right? Okay.
Which is like the gentrification cycle of so many neighborhoods. But yeah, basically the Warburtons heiress lives in a Hackney Wick warehouse, and like there's that thing of like dressing a certain way and acting a certain way where fundamentally I think is kind of worse than admitting that you come from privilege.
I agree completely. I completely agree. Well, I've spoken about it on the podcast before, but I tell people that I cosplay as rich, or at least certainly have in my life. And it's such a...
You've got an ex-wife energy to you.
And
I mean that as a compliment.
Anyone's ever said to me. I love my partner, but I say to him all the time, I'm like, I do want to get married, but can we just get divorced once and then get remarried? I want to be an ex-wife so bad.
It would be so... I feel like whenever you hear stories of people getting divorced and then getting married again, whether immediately after or years after, it is so glamorous.
Right?
It's
so
like,
oh, you've just
glamorous.
got money. You're just throwing it out there. Do whatever the hell you want. I love it. So thank you.
You should do it. I think you should do it.
Thank you. I'll work on him. But I do. I find it very funny because I'm like, oh yeah, cosplaying as rich is great. Don't do the opposite. Obviously, that's no good. And I loved seeing your set when you're just like, yeah, I come from money. It's just what it is.
It was like a really interesting journey to go on, just because like the show's called Olga Koch Comes From Money, and one of the lines in the show I say is like, I grew up rich, and it's really interesting because I've done it in 6 countries now, this show, maybe more, and how essentially whatever the attitude towards money in that country or in that culture is, they will interpret it emotionally how they wish to. So like I will be doing interviews here in Australia, and even more so in the UK, and people will be like, so you think it's amazing that you grew up rich, you think you're bragging about privilege, and I was like, no, what I said is Olga Koch comes from money, and what you heard is, and therefore that is good and she is better than you. Whereas
so many emotions being put on
that is simply not the case.
Yeah,
God no. Like if you watch the show is ultimately like a very soft call for socialism, but I think obviously I'm being interviewed by people who've never seen the show, and they'll be like,
yeah, what the hell? What the hell? We got a
you having a
problem
good time?
with you.
What am I going to listen to you talk an hour about being rich?
No, I love it. It's kind of like, Natasha Leggero, her whole shtick on stage. It's kind of just although hers is definitely much more leaning into I am better than you.
She is fabulous.
I fucking love it.
But I think when you watch her, you're like, this is obviously a character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I also think, I don't know, I have... Definitely, I'm biased, but I don't mind seeing it come from a woman. If it was a man, it'd probably make me angry. But for a woman, I'm like, yeah, absolutely, do whatever. I love this. I think that all women should be billionaires.
That's beautiful. That's such a good platform.
Thank you. And I am going to run on that.
Also, I don't know. I mean, obviously, this is problematic to say because billionaire. There's no way. There's no ethical way to be a billionaire. This is a fact. But that's not to say that sexism doesn't make it worse, because like the amount of people online rolling their eyes at the fact that Mackenzie Bezos got half the money in the divorce, and it's like, I think she bankrolled him while he was setting up Amazon, and he gave that money willingly because like he acknowledged the part that she played.
For sure.
And I don't think either of them should be billionaires, but that being said, she was entitled to have that money.
I agree completely.
Boom.
And, I mean, you know, I personally am a big fan of prenups. I want a prenup. But
You've been thinking a lot about this.
Oh,
You're like every little girl dreams of her wedding. You dreamt of your divorce. You're like, and I'll have a prenup, I'll have a lawyer. You have pictures of Laura Dern from Marriage Story on your wall.
Oh my God. Look, it might shock you to know that I did go through 3 of my parents' divorces throughout my childhood.
Oh my God.
That may or may not have influenced my own dreams.
I'm so sorry. Which one? Can you rank them?
Like best to worst?
Yeah.
Best, probably my mom and dad when I was 3, like birth parents.
Okay.
Because I was 3. I was like...
You don't remember anything?
My only memory was them saying, we're going to split up. And I cried. And I thought it was because I thought that they meant they were going to get chopped in half.
Oh my God. So
Yeah.
it must have been such a sweet relief to see the
Exactly.
full body.
I said, oh my God, I don't want you to die. And they're like, what? No, we're not going to die. We're just going to live separately. And I was like, great. That's fine. Worst, probably my mum and my stepdad, because she was like a real bitch about it. I'm kidding.
Oh, I'm so
kidding.
sorry.
Kidding my mum.
Get it together, Mom.
No. I'm so kidding, but it was sad.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. My mum and my stepmom and my dad was like bad because my little sister is her daughter, and that was like annoying. But we were all kind of like, it's for the best.
Have either your parents remarried for a third time?
Yes. I have so many parents.
Are they each in their third marriage?
Yes.
Oh my God, I love how they both still believe in love. I think that's beautiful.
Yes. I mean, my mother and stepfather's situation is much more complicated. I'll double check with her if she wants me to leave this in, but they opened things up, and then they both, Mum fell in love with one of the new boyfriends, and then they split up romantically, but they still are best friends, share the same surname, live together, have separate bedrooms, and date other people.
Okay, first of all, slay.
Yeah.
Second of all, has your mom read the book All Fours by Miranda July?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, Mom, read that book. She
Okay.
will absolutely love it. It's
Ah.
like very similar, very cool.
Yeah, okay. I know that when they first opened things up and told us, I recommended Dan Savage.
Yeah,
yes.
he's super into that as well, isn't
Yes,
he?
yes,
Ethical
he is.
non-monogamy.
Ethical
Oh my
non-monogamy.
God, Polly Mom.
I know it, Polly, I love it. But the other day she was like talking about him, and I was like, yeah, I know, I turned you on to him. And she was like, no, you didn't. I'm Polly. And I was like, bitch, sit down. No, I'll go through the texts if I have to.
The person that she, you know what? We're not going to discuss your mom's business in case she doesn't want. You know what? Respect and privacy to you.
I'll talk to you after. All your questions, I'll field them all. What was I saying about your childhood, though? More importantly,
Please.
you have siblings over a decade apart
Yes.
of you. So you're in the middle.
Yes,
The
and
three of
my
you?
sister's 12 years older and my
Yeah.
brother's 10 years younger. And we
That's-
have the same parents.
Well, that's crazy.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. So,
My poor mom.
Yeah. Just when you think you're out.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What a time. How did you find that? I feel like it would have been most confronting for your older sister when you were born, because like when you were around, surely having an older sister already and then having a younger one coming in, you would have been like, well, yeah, I already have siblings. But to be an only child and then your parents make a new baby at 12 years old, I feel like that.
I think each of us got to be an only child.
Yeah,
So for
okay,
12 years, she
okay.
was an only child. Then I was born, and like, I would say what? She was like gone at uni 5 years into me being a kid, and
Yeah,
I just
okay.
started forming memories. So I was the only child.
Yeah.
And then I remember my brother was born when I was 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And then at 14, I got sent to boarding school. So like
Oh,
he got
wow,
to be
yeah,
an
okay.
only child. So fundamentally, we are like nominally siblings.
Yeah.
But she lives in Russia. My brother lives in Germany. I live in the UK. I mostly speak English. He mostly speaks German. My sister
Yeah,
mostly
wow.
speaks Russian. She's Gen X. I'm millennial. He's Gen Z. Like, there is nothing we have in common other
so
than
crazy.
identical blood.
Do you keep in touch a lot? Like, are you close, or is it just kind of like...
We'll see each other like a couple of times a year.
Yeah, okay. Nice.
Yeah. Maybe like once every 2-3 months we'll text each other.
Yeah, okay.
But like individually in couples. Like we are not in a group chat or anything.
Yeah, okay. Wow.
It's also crazy because we were all raised by different parents. So
Yeah.
my parents like essentially were teenagers when they had my sister.
Yeah.
So it was like just 3 children. And like for her 18th birthday, they went clubbing and took shots. And like by the time I was growing up, my dad was like peak whatever, like his political career in Russia. So it was like that sort of crazy time of Russia getting on to, like becoming the country that it is. And so the partying was fucking insane. Like insane. People were constantly vomiting in our house. Like people like it was like it was mad. And then by the time they had my brother, my dad was actively on the run from Russia living in Germany. They were like old enough for my brother's like friends to assume they were his grandparents.
Yeah, okay.
My brother speaks German. They don't. They also are sober now. So like those three types of parents are like completely different.
Yeah.
So we have not very like there's not much Venn diagram when it comes to our experiences.
Holy shit, that's so interesting.
Sorry, I feel like I'm just like offloading all my family trauma.
That's what I want. Are you kidding me? Look, this show is about friendship, and I have found
trauma bonding.
It's everything. It's where people start out. It makes such a big difference as to how people make friends. So I guess getting into that, were you a very popular kid? What kind of kid were you at this point? Were you making friends?
Oh God. I think I was like very quickly realized that I need to be class clown because I went to 5 different schools.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was a lot of like, okay, how do I like
get a good first impression?
Have you ever seen Never Been Kissed?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you remember the scene where he takes the brother joins the school to make Josie popular?
Yes. Yeah.
And then he eats all of this coleslaw. And then it was like, and so it's like the coleslaw scene, I would say that is me in a nutshell.
Yeah, okay.
Where I was like, I know how to gain social capital in school fast.
Yes.
It's not going to make me like hot popular, but it's gonna put my name out.
Who needs to be hot popular, honestly?
No.
That's for like later in life.
It was like a lot of stunts. I was like a stunt kid. I would like wear, I remember one time in high school, I like wore a Teletubby outfit to class and like didn't address it, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. But in retrospect, I was like, everybody probably thought you were fucking obnoxious. What are you doing?
Maybe they thought you were strange.
Yeah, I remember I faked my own death when Facebook came out.
God.
That was fun. I
Please
did
say more.
I did the whole Facebook status like, this is Olga's mom.
Yeah. Oh my God. Were you like not going to school for a day or something?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think it was like over break or something. Mm-hmm. I mean, what I'm telling you is much like many stand-up comedians, really liked attention. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, I guess I was like a stunt kid. And also I was never hot. I wasn't a hot kid. When it came to being a kid, I wasn't that fuckable. So it was like...
sentence I have also said multiple times. And when people like come back at you, some people are like, yeah, we can tell. Someone did on stage say to me once, I can tell. We can tell you want a hot kid. And I'm like... why do you want a hot kid, man?
Yeah, that says more about you. That says more about you.
Weird.
But also, we're comedians. Obviously, we weren't hot kids.
Yeah, obviously. Shut up. Okay, you want a hot kid.
Yeah, so it was a lot of, like, I think humor being the social capital.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's brilliant. Given the fact that you come from money, going to these schools, was it usually, like, private schools or people in a similar sort of socioeconomic area as you? Or were you kind of, like, the rich kid at school? What's the situation?
So I was in a state school for first couple of years. So there I was like, it was very clear that I was living a different lifestyle. Yeah. And that was like, the joke that I tell is that I was bullied there for being rich, then got transferred to a private school where I wasn't rich enough. Yeah. And by the age of 11, when you've been bullied for both being rich and not being rich enough, you realize that the problem might be your personality. So I don't think it had anything to do with my socioeconomic status and had more to do with the fact that I was fucking obnoxious. So then I went to a state school, then I went to two different private schools in Russia, and then I went to a boarding school in the UK.
Yeah, okay, far out. Boarding school, and that's what, for the last like 3 years of school?
4, yeah.
4, okay. How was that?
It was interesting. The thing is like, it was obviously kids who are more or less in the same socioeconomic level, but boarding schools in the UK, obviously huge cash cows, it was kids from all over the world. And it was also like a super weird thing where it was an American school that exists mostly for like children of American diplomats, American military personnel. Yeah, okay. So that half the school were like borderline army brats essentially who are like American, and they were only like, they were very insular, would hang out only with themselves, and like they would feed into this delusion that we were actually in America when we were not. Okay. So we had American teachers, we learned American history, but it was like in the middle of Staines, which is like a small town where like Ali G is from in the UK.
Yeah, okay.
Like it was so bizarre because all the locals were like, what are you guys doing? Why do you have a lacrosse team? Why are you eating Hershey chocolate?
So
like
strange.
there were lockers. Like every time I saw a British person that I went to a school in the UK that had like those lockers that they stuffed the nerds in, they were like, we didn't even know that they like made or shipped them here. So it was like a cosplay school. It was super weird.
That's so strange.
Like very strangers with candy. And so that core essentially create this delusion that we were in America, like prom king, prom queen, pep rally, homecoming. The crazy thing is like a homecoming dance happens when the graduating class from the previous year comes and plays like a game. It's called a homecoming game.
Right.
But we never had a homecoming game. So it was like we had the dance, but not the reason the dance was called that. It was fucking crazy. And but the second half was all just like international kids who were essentially were like, well, we've seen 10 things I hate about you, so we'll give this a good go.
I mean, I'd be really into that, I'm sure. It sounds so fun. Oh my God.
Doing the accent and everything?
Yes, 100%. It's like every time as a kid I went anywhere during summer, you know, during the couple of weeks you get off in Australia, I'd be like, I'm going to have a summer fling. Like staring on the beach, being like, wow, like, it's like, that's a...
Mary-Kate and Ashley mode?
Yes. Yes.
We are on the location in Our Lips Are Sealed.
Yes, we are. Very exciting. I've been trying to find Mary-Kate and Ashley movies lately, actually. They're nowhere.
Really?
They're not on the streaming services. I don't know why.
Well, I think they owned them probably. Because they own the production company. I want to say it's TriStar or something.
That sounds familiar.
And I wonder if there's somewhere behind some sort of paywall. They're waiting for their fans to reach.
Yeah.
Like the amount of money they need.
All right, I'm gonna get the stir going. I'm gonna remind everyone. I don't know, put out a TikTok and just say, hey guys, come on.
And then they start a streaming service just for Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Oh, there's enough there.
Yeah,
it's so good.
You could do the Elizabeth Olsen films in there as well.
Of course,
just to beef it up. Man, they're making money because they also own the Row, don't they? And the Row is like the sort of cool girl basics.
That's right. It's the one that has like teeny tiny sizes. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's not surprising.
They also have Elizabeth and James. They make like perfumes that are all over Sephora. They are making money.
They could make more if they put their fucking movies on Netflix.
We need a Mary-Kate and Ashley streaming service.
Please. I'll subscribe. I have all the services. I want them all. Okay, so the boarding school, was that co-ed or?
Yes.
Yeah, wow, okay. Did you, like, I can just imagine from an outsider's perspective that if you're making friends or if you're not, whatever it is, at a boarding school, it's like, it sticks, you know? It's so much time with other people around. Did you make friends? Are they lifelong friends? What was the situation?
Yeah, I'd say probably like, I want to say 3 people from my like social circle that I talk to all the time are from high school. I have lived with my best friend from high school since I graduated university. We've lived together for 10 years.
Oh my God.
If not more.
That's
11
so
now.
nice.
He's my best friend in the entire world.
Yeah.
He's like family.
Yeah.
And so I think eventually my dream is to retire with him.
Yeah.
Like we both have boyfriends now, but it's like the understanding is like we're each other's ride or die, and then the other people will fall away. So, and like, yeah, he's like, I don't know my life without him. I've known him for most of my life.
That's so
But yeah, we met at that crazy fucking cosplay school.
Oh my goodness.
It was like
so
22 Jump
nice.
Street.
That's so strange. Oh my God, I'm so intrigued. I want to go.
You bond with people.
Yeah, I bet. Was there any kind of extra level of toxicity in a boarding school, or?
I think what happened was that, like, yes, it was like the most different kids from the same socioeconomic level. So like the understanding of what was like normal and acceptable was so skewed and weird. I remember we would like go out clubbing in London and like some people will always get bottle service, and it was like that was like there were things that I was participating in high school just by proxy that I would like not dream of affording today, which and I couldn't even like fathom it. But then also it was crazy because it would be like kids from like Korea, Nigeria, Russia, Argentina, and like they're all bringing their own understanding of what like gender roles, family. Yeah. Like I remember coming and I was like, coming from Russia, I like had some homophobia inside me.
Yeah, right.
Right? Like I am a very, very open bisexual person now, and like Phil, the best friend that I'm living with, was like a gay guy, and like I still brought over like weird shit about how like I want to be a housewife and stuff like that. And all of that was being unlearned in real time in this cultural melting pot of like, maybe I don't want to be a housewife. Maybe I've brought this really from Russia.
Yeah. That sounds like and probably informs like, I don't know, doing comedy all over the world as well, really well.
Yeah.
It's always good for people's brains to hear more perspectives, right? And
absolutely, 100%.
Learn about other cultures. That's sick. Damn.
That I will be forever grateful for.
Yeah, that sounds so great. Growing up bisexual, also am a bisexual woman, openly proud. I do love to bombard my bi girl guests with the usual. I just like to know how much of a trope it is for everyone.
We were kissing in the boarding school. Obviously, guys, you put a bunch of girls who like have just gone through puberty in a dorm. Are you kidding? Obviously,
that's what happens. Any of the classic kiss your friend or think that you're in love with your friend, and then they're like, I'm actually straight and just best friends. Any of that?
Okay, well, those are some of the most traumatic experiences of my life, and we should not be talking about. But
Sorry to just brush past
but like
them.
every woman has gone through this.
Okay, good.
Even the ones who say that they're straight absolutely have gone through this. This like insane, super jealous. Like, oh my God, let's sleep in each other's beds. Let's wear each other's clothes. It was like, oh my God, it would be funnier to shower. Like, it'll be quicker to shower together. It's crazy.
Funny is awesome.
It's so true, though. There was also, okay, I don't know. How old are you, if you don't mind
30.
asking? Okay, so we definitely went through the same time in online porn where it wasn't, there was like that time where it was like available, but it not as readily available as Pornhub.
Like the free streaming.
Exactly. So you had to like either go on LimeWire or find a torrent and all that shit. And so because of that, it was a more communal exercise than now.
Oh my God.
So there was a lot of girls watching porn together because it's like, oh, look, I got one. And it's like, yay. So there would be like a fucking viewing party in one of the dorm rooms. And you know what happens at a goddamn porn viewing party.
Oh, yeah. It was so crazy. Does anyone else feel like putting the covers on or something? I don't know. That's so wild. Did you guys want a spoon tonight? Fuck, I forgot about that. I had one of those little viewing parties, mixed gendered though.
Wow.
Unfortunately. Yeah. And I remember the fellas just being like, yeah, guys, we got to watch this. And we're like, wait, do we? I believe it was the same party where our makeout partners decided they would swap.
Oh God, you had no call in this.
Nope. And they were like my makeout partner was my boyfriend as well, and he's like, we're gonna swap now, and I was like, I don't want, but we got
what the hell?
And they're like, yeah, no, we're just gonna, because it's a makeout party.
What's a makeout party?
Where you make out, where you watch porn and make.
I want to go to a makeout party. They should have more makeout parties for people in their 30s. We're losing the art of making out. We are losing it.
Not agree more. I just wish everyone. I mean, also in a relationship, so you know, my time's gone, but I wish for when I was single that it was more known that you can just kiss.
Now people are either fucking right away. I also have a boyfriend, but it's like people are either fucking right away, which is fine. If you want to do that, go for it.
Totally.
Or there's like incel chastity, and it's like no. There's making out. There's a whole world in between.
Yes, and it's the most fun world. Oh my God, when you just have a little make out and then you get a little crush and then you think about them and then you cry. The natural cycle.
But yeah, I remember going to the club and making out with like me and the girls being like, how many did you make out with? And you'd be like comparing numbers on the dance floor.
Oh my God, yes.
Good old days.
Yes, and then you have a parent pick you up from the disco. And then one of your friends spills about the making out on the dance floor, and then your parent gets weird. That's awesome. So being in such a like crazy multicultural school and coming from some, like having more, you know, homophobia in your brain and stuff, was there much acceptance, or were you not really even out when you were in school? Or?
I wasn't out until when I was at school. Not that I would be like, I'm straight. I don't know if that conversation was even had. I think you were straight by default, and the gay people felt the need to come out. Yeah. And then I got into the stand-up scene where I would say everybody was at least gay. I'd say that now, again, in the comedy world, there's pressure on you to come out as straight, and you're panned by default, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Especially with women.
Yes.
For me, if a woman says like mentions that she's straight, I'm
Really?
I don't think so.
I didn't know we had any of those left. I actually went to a school of arts, and it was kind of like that.
Okay.
Like,
oh my God, it's like the Fame High School.
Yeah. Yeah. There were for sure guys who were queer baiting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In theatre. Just like, yeah, I mean, I could be gay. You can take your bra off. All right. Which was pretty cool. Very nice. Like, because I did come out in high school, and I don't know many friends who did, but it was nice.
How was the experience then?
Still a little weird. For the most part, it was fine, but there was definitely a couple of girls who were like, well, don't kiss me. And I'd be like, I don't want to. Fuck you,
come
bitch.
on.
But it was fine. Like, I told my mum I was bi, and she was like, I know. She's like, same, we all are, shut up.
Your mom sounds so cool.
She is really cool. She's also super hot. It's like,
can I see a picture of your mom?
Yeah,
is that allowed?
Yes, completely.
I can't believe I'm saying those words, but please can I see a picture of your mom?
I'll get her Instagram open. There you go.
Oh my God. Okay, hot mom. Okay,
Yeah,
hot mom. Are you fucking serious right now?
It's crazy.
No way. No, she's not.
It's really fucked up.
What?
I know.
What the hell?
My last show I did was like about hotness, but largely disordered eating, and then a new one I'm working on is hotness, and everyone's like, you're so obsessed with being hot, and I'm like, look where it came from.
That's crazy.
How could I not be?
She just looks like that?
I know.
Yeah, that's fucked, man.
It's fucked up. It's so fucked up. I think we got to get into some sleepover games, though.
All right, let's do it.
If you're open to that. So starting off with Would You Rather.
Okay.
Famed
this is
game.
so cute.
Thank you.
Elle Woods.
Thank you. So, would you rather be poor
Oh my God.
or have children in your 40s like your mother did? At least one of them.
I wouldn't mind either of those things, I guess.
Well, yeah,
That's such an
obviously.
insane question.
I know. I'm sorry. I just figured I'd stay a little bit on theme because of the show that you're doing. So staying a little on theme, absolutely not meaning to be judgy. But also I had learnt.
Not that there's absolutely anything wrong with being poor, and in late stage capitalism, there is it's very difficult not to be poor.
Yeah, I'd say most of us are.
But I will say have children in my 40s because I think that is a blessing.
Yeah.
And I think that was great for my mom.
Yeah.
I know I do stand-up material about how she probably just wanted to retire and have a good time. But I think my brother gave her a new lease on life, and I would love to glow just like she did.
Nice. Yeah. Also, like, if I wanted kids, I would be planning to have them in my 40s.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how anyone affords children before then. To be
It's
honest.
crazy.
They're so expensive.
It's crazy.
It's so fucking crazy. Okay. Now here's a very simple one, very much on theme as well. But would you rather have all the money in the world for yourself? You can do whatever you want, except you're not allowed to give any away. Or have everyone have moderate middle class wealth?
Obviously, everyone having moderate middle class wealth. What are you talking about?
Okay.
We're on camera.
But off camera,
and
maybe.
world peace.
Yeah, okay, all right. That was a pretty silly one. I'm sorry. Okay, a better game. Fuck, marry, kill.
Okay.
You familiar with it?
I love Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Beautiful. Fuck, marry, kill. Famous billionaires.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg.
Fuck, that is actually really difficult.
It's tough, right?
That's a really good question.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have Bezos, we have Musk, we have Zuckerberg. Okay, and I would just like to reiterate to all of our listeners and viewers, I have no option of killing them all. In which case I would.
Obviously.
So we're going to kill Musk because I'm absolutely not dealing with that fucking mess.
Good call.
When it comes to Bezos and Zuckerberg,
Yeah.
yes,
No, sorry. I'm thinking out loud with you.
there are some things, and again, I think they are unforgivably horrible human beings.
Yeah.
They are bad guys.
Yeah.
There is one brownie point I will give Bezos.
Yeah.
And absolutely, that will not save him. He's like -1 million, and I'm giving him 1 point, so it's not gonna help. Is the fact that he is currently dating a woman who is age appropriate, and that's rare because he doesn't
so
have
rare.
to be.
Yeah.
And then the second is with Mark Zuckerberg. The point that I will give him, and again, -1 million, I'm giving him 1 point, and that is he is a huge simp for his wife to the point where he made like a larger than life sculpture of her for his backyard.
Oh my God. God.
I mean, I don't think he made it. I think he had someone
Yeah,
make
yeah,
it for
of
him.
course,
But
of
it's like
course.
he is simping, okay? And for her 40th birthday, he like did a whole stage performance for her. I do think he absolutely is obsessed with her. So
Okay.
those are the only two redeemable qualities
Yes,
on these people.
yes.
And again, 1 point each.
Yeah.
So I think we need to think about which one of them is laying pipe better.
I agree.
But also the kind of sex that I like. And I like dweeb, so I'm going to go Zuckerberg.
Yeah, okay.
I like a dweeb.
I can see the fun there.
I like a dweeb. That being said, I would do like sort of James Bond villain sex with him where it's like there's poison in my pussy type thing.
Oh my God.
And
I
then
love this.
with Bezos, I'm marrying him only if to divorce him because then he'll give me half his money.
And that's
No
just
questions
very
asked, as we
cool,
know with Mackenzie.
obviously. Yeah, that's
there we go.
exactly why it happened. It was simple.
And then I
like
would donate
that.
to charity.
Of course. Wow. That's
Whew,
very...
that was difficult.
It's tough. No, it's a tough one because...
What would you do?
I think I have to agree with you. While I do think a lot of people would think Bezos is more fuckable than Zuckerberg, I can also enjoy a dweeb, and I think Zuckerberg would be more excited about it.
Yeah, I know. But,
Right?
Generally, my controversial opinion is men have sex with women because they're hot, and women have sex with them because they're grateful, and or at least the type of woman that I am. But I just like imagine fucking Bezos. I feel like he's dehydrated. His veins are popping. He's red for some reason. I feel like he's really sunburned.
Yeah. 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 Yes to everything. You've got to fuck Zuckerberg. Great. There was no question about Musk. He's got to die.
Yeah, 100%.
Easy.
Also, he can't fuck, right? All these babies are in vitro.
Whoa.
He has like
What?
Yeah, he has like 20 babies or whatever, and they're all in vitro, or most of them are anyway. He's not fucking these babies into these women.
What?
Yes.
What is...
He thinks he has good sperm. He wants people to. He wants more of him.
That's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
He doesn't. This is the thing with Musk that bothers me. Not the most, because there's worse things. But one of the things is people thinking that he's this genius who actually is the scientist behind a lot of the products that he's made. He's not. He's a computer programmer. I don't know why people don't understand that. He made WinZip. He made fucking PayPal. That's it. It's his computer programmer. Oh
that
my
doesn't
God.
mean that you know about space.
No, not at all.
That doesn't give you an aerospace engineering degree.
Infuriating. All right. Female billionaires. Fuck, marry, kill.
Okay, let's go.
Kim Kardashian, Rihanna, Taylor Swift.
Ooh.
Isn't it just immediately better?
Ooh. That's so interesting. Okay. Kim K, Rihanna, Taylor. Oh my God, this is going to be horrible. This is going to be probably one of the worst things I'll ever say, but Kim Taylor? What am I saying? Kill Taylor. Even though I am a Swiftie. I've gone to 2 Taylor shows. Okay. I love Taylor Swift.
No, but I think I see
but
where
it's
you're
like
going with this.
Being with her, I feel like it's a lifetime of bore, and fucking her is going to be a night of bore. It's true.
No, I think she's a little sluttier than with them.
Okay, but I'm gonna marry Rihanna. Yeah. Obviously, we're gonna have a great time, and then honestly, I'm gonna have sex with Kim Kardashian.
I want to see how she throws down.
I want like her body is a feat of engineering and is like the scientific peak of humanity. I need to get in there.
Yeah.
I want to know what's up.
Yep. Look, it's the only answer. I love Taylor Swift so much, and I do think that we'd have a fun marriage, although I do think that she's like as straight as they come.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't.
Wait, you're not a Gaylor person?
No.
You don't think she kissed Carly Kloss in that Terminal 5 video, the 1975 show?
She kissed her like a straight girl kiss. Come on. She kissed her for the boys. No, I don't want to assume anything. I don't know, and I hope that maybe she, can if she's gay, go explore it, babe. But actually, I think Kim's probably straighter. Either way, she's just seems like really fun to have sex with, and Rihanna is like no doubt. Obviously, you have to marry her.
Yeah.
It's just
easy.
Simple. All right, great, wonderful, brilliant. Our next game is called Bend or Snap.
Ooh, okay.
It is basically if a friend does this thing.
Yes.
Does your friendship bend or snap?
Oh my God, that's such a good game.
Thank you. My Canadian friend told me about it.
Such a good game. Okay.
Okay, so bend or snap. Remembering you come from money, and I'm playing with that. And I'm not making this up. I'm making some assumptions.
I'm ready.
But we're staying on theme. Bend or snap. If a friend never pays, like their share or anything when you go out together, right? Always assumes that you're going to get it.
Ooh. Ooh. Probably like bend. What does that mean?
It means like you'll be flexible with it.
I'll be flexible with it, but
Yeah.
I will have a chat with them.
Yeah. Okay. Very mature.
I'm
Very
like,
nice.
yeah, I'm a big chatter.
Okay. I love that.
I'll chat about anything, and especially in the UK, it makes people feel very uncomfortable because they're like, we don't talk about things, and I'm like, in this house we do.
Yeah, that's crazy. Actually, I want to go over soon, and I think it'd be fun to live there, but that would drive me insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because then it's like, person could be so rude to you, but it could be, but because it's not overt, it's less rude than you pointing it out. Like they could be like extremely passive aggressive. They could ignore you flat out, but you saying, "Hey, why are you ignoring me?" is worse manners than them ignoring you.
No. Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, it's bad.
That drives me crazy. Okay, good to know. I will keep that in mind. Bend or snap. If your friend is overly insistent on paying when you go out together, but they don't let you forget it.
Oh. Bend.
Worth bending.
I'm just like, I think generally money is such a fucking minefield that I think there are no like axioms, complete rights and complete wrongs when it comes to it. And I think people largely are raised not talking about it.
Yeah.
And so like everything we know about money is sort of like comes from our like implicit understanding and picking up on social cues. And it's like, how can we guarantee that everybody extrapolated the same rules from an unspoken system?
It's very nuanced.
Sorry, but I do feel that way. Like the way that people like don't talk about salaries because it's like it's bad to talk about your salary. But then in reality, when you sit down and you think about it, the only people benefiting from people not talking about their salaries are the bosses who are not paying them equal salaries.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, cool. So your boss is essentially getting away with paying you less because you think it's rude to talk about your salary.
Yeah. Oh, it's so silly. It's I think that everything should be talked about, all of the stuff.
And this is what this podcast is about.
That's it. We're actually a finance podcast now. So get your crypto wallets out, boys. All right, last bend or snap. If your friend does treat a bill like regular, splits it, does whatever, regular person sort of stuff with the bill, but they invite random people all the time to hanging out with you and don't tell you.
That's fine.
That's fine? Yeah. Wow, what's wrong with me?
Wait, do you think that's a crime? Are you like, we're not friends anymore because you brought this random?
We're not friends anymore. My oldest best friend, like childhood friend, is he loves to do this all the time. And it's fine. I've made more friends because of it. But I'm like, I'm so socially special that I have to prepare for like who I'm seeing. And then I get there and then there's like 4 people I've never met before. And I'm like, what? I didn't prepare for that.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Sometimes, obviously, I'm like not in the mood to meet new people, or if it's I want it to be a one-on-one. That's something you have to be very clear about. But largely, I love meeting new people because it's new gossip.
Oh, that's nice.
It's always new gossip.
Beautiful way to look at the world. Love some gossip. They
have new tea.
Yes, and everyone's got some.
Yeah.
And I mean, in this industry, you almost certainly know some of the people involved. It's
absolutely
awesome. Oh, I do love festival season for that. Okay, last game. It's truth or dare.
Oh my God, let's go. Let's go.
So you pick truth or dare, and if I ask you the truth or the dare and you don't like it, you can go back and pick the other one. It's up to you.
Truth.
Truth? Okay. What's the most ridiculous or unnecessary thing you've spent a bunch of money on?
What is the most ridiculous and unnecessary thing that I've spent money on? Ooh. My first thought was my ex-boyfriend.
Great.
Love you, babes.
Oh my God, great. I do love getting like messages from him being like, oh, marry me, I'm rich. I'm like, my boyfriend is the first person I've ever dated with a fucking job. You think that matters to me? Oh my God, fantastic.
Yeah, I'd say like, obviously I'm not representative of all women, but like the stuff that absolutely does not resonate with me is any online content that's like, women only want guys with money. And it's like, I've never in my life dated a guy with money, ever.
Never.
That's never been.
Nope. I don't even know where to find a guy with money. What do they do?
I don't know if I'd like it.
I don't think I would.
'Cause I don't, a man already has too much ego.
Yes, exactly. Fuck that. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks so much for having me. I really, really
It's
appreciate
been so lovely. Do you want to let everyone know where they can find you and what you're doing?
Find me at Kolga300 on TikTok and on Instagram, or at rockandrollga.com for my upcoming dates.
Beautiful. Thank you guys for listening. I love you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
We just become best friends.